Hey there, in my latest video I showed how I work with the Alice app that I built using OpenAI's models. Assuming that the development of large language models will continue, sooner or later you may need to integrate them with your own application. That's why I thought it may be interesting for you to learn about how I designed the mechanics of Alice, which have proven to be quite effective in practice. I just finished working on the first version that include the ability to have a conversation, save conversation history, and define your own prompts. You can freely edit the prompt, including the system message, making it easy to fully customize the assistant behavior. By default, the message is sent directly to OpenAI. However, in addition to its contents, the main system message is also included in the prompt, which affects the generated response. This means that the messages that user sees actually differ from what is being sent to OpenAI. If we look at the scheme of the messages being sent, we will see that at the top there is always a system message that defines the general behavior of our assistant. Then we have the conversation directly between the user and the AI. You may already know that generating responses by OpenAI takes time and can last from a few to several tens of seconds. That's why I care about providing users with information about what's going on as quickly as possible, and that is what streaming responses provide. When using the streaming mode, the OpenAI sends us a fragment of the response that we need to combine in the right way and display in the interface. In Alice's case, an important issue here is also the formatting of messages using Markdown syntax and syntax highlighting in case the response contains code snippets. Streaming can be handled manually by parsing each fragment or by using tools that make it easier for us. I'm referring here to LangChain or Vercel AI SDK. Providing users with feedback on what is currently happening with their request is important from a UX perspective. All of this becomes even more important when we consider the fact that currently available models are characterized by rather slow performance. Apart from just streaming responses, it's also important to control the so-called token window. As you may know, queries directed at individual models are limited by the number of tokens, and the limit includes both the tokens we send as a prompt and those generating as a response. Our task is to control the numbers of tokens sent with each query and either block interaction that exceeds the allowable limit or perform compressions that will enable interaction. So, since tokens may be word fragments, we need additional tool to help us keep track of the length of prompts. For JavaScript, we have GPT Tokenizer or GPT-3 encoder. So with Alice, we're currently talking about a rigid conversation block when we exceed or get close to the limit of the currently selected model. Another important element in my application is the ability to activate snippets that change the behavior of the assistant during the conversation or only for a short time. For example, using keyboard shortcut, I can quickly ask for grammar correction in the selected text and then ask for it to be translated into English. So in order to make this possible, it becomes crucial to manipulate the conversation history in a way that is not directly visible to the user. In practice, when the snippet is activated, a second system message is added to the prompt, which appears directly above the latest user's message. This technique has been effective in changing the assistant behavior while maintaining its default behavior defined by the main system prompt. From a user's perspective, nothing changes except for the active snippet and the assistant's different behavior. All the magic simply happens in the background. So, when designing interaction with tools like GPT-4, it's important to consider how prompts are conveyed to OpenAI and how they are displayed to the user. In almost every case, it's crucial to stream the response, which starts appearing almost immediately. This means that interacting with LLMs requires an added layer of abstraction, which formats user data properly for the model. What's more, generated responses must also be processed for convenient display to the user. Designing such interactions can be done independently by directly connecting to OpenAI. However, before starting such a project, it is worth considering tools that are designed to facilitate the integration of large language models with applications. I am talking here about Llama Index or the previously mentioned LangChain. Developing the Alice project makes it easier for me to explore new techniques for working with GPT models, as well as showing their current limitation, which can mostly be bypassed or simply avoided. For now, it will be all for this video. In the description down below, you will find an additional resources that you can use to develop your skills in using large language models. Thank you for watching and see you next time.